So Samsung decided that the Fold line needed shaking up, and the Korean tech giant has certainly done that this year. We have the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra and the Z Fold 8 or Z Fold 8 Ultra and Z Fold 8. They're two takes on the genre, quite different, but which is the better for most people? We're going to work it out together in this video. Before then though, I'm asking you to sub to the channel because it really helps me out and hopefully it helps you get nice content like this. The bigger number of the subscriber count means you also get to invoke and help us build a community, and it's part and parcel of YouTube. Sorry, ignore this if you hate this. Cheers for everyone else who wants to join the channel. So let's start out with the obvious things first. The Z Fold 8 Ultra sticks to that tried and true candy bar phone at the front. I really actually hate the term candy bar, but that's the best way to describe it. They have that square inner screen that we've seen for a good number of years now and has been evolving over time. Samsung is positioning this as the productivity folding phone this time, which is a really weird way to describe it, whereas the Z Fold 8 is the entertainment folding phone, and I must admit I can't disagree with that, at least at first glance. The passport size of that other one at the front, I think, takes a little bit of getting used to if you've had a big phone for a long time already, but I really have liked how refreshing it is to have something that you can use one-handed, or at least isn't concerned with having such a tall frame, something that has kind of been accustomed to, or we've been accustomed to over the past, 15 years or so. The Z Fold 8 Ultra feels no different to last year's Fold 7 if you've seen that, used that, tried that, and I figured it wouldn't be any different because that is a great device in its own right that didn't really need a redesign, or it has had a redesign previously. Without the existence of the Z Fold 8, I think it wouldn't necessarily feel as businessman-like or corporate. I know those are pretty strong statements, but I do think the colour options as well likely lean into that fun aesthetic more than any other release that Samsung has had to date. It definitely feels like a flip in that respect, and this could be the eventual kind of evolution of a flip phone from Samsung going over here to the Fold 8, the wider design. The only change is the bigger camera bump on the Z Fold 8 Ultra, which I think does hurt the design a little bit as it sticks out probably way more than it ought to, a little bit like how it does on the S26 Ultra. There is an improved 50 megapixel wide angle, which I think does account for that, but that is the extent of the upgrades to that camera system. The Z Fold 8 has a way less capable dual camera system with a 50 megapixel main sensor. I wouldn't call either of these flagship level camera setups, but yeah, one is clearly much better than the other, thanks to that 200 megapixel, 50 megapixel, and 10 megapixel 3x telephoto. I think Passport, though, is a great way to think of the Z Fold 8. It isn't much smaller than an actual Passport. I've compared it to both of mine and looks pretty darn close. It feels amazing, though, when you pick this up for the first time. It's super thin. It's not overly heavy like some of the previous attempts at the form factor. I think it's just over 200 grams. So, yeah, when you compare it to the likes of the Oppo Find N2 and Google's original Pixel Fold, I think Samsung has really leaned into making this, or at least making a take on this a lot better. All of the good stuff that they've learned from foldable models has been distilled down into this pint-sized package. Also worth noting that the diminished crease on the Z Fold 8 and the Z Fold 8 Ultra will be something I think longtime fans will love. It's been a complaint for a long time. And the completely flat screen is yet another quality of life decision that a lot of fans have kind of criticised for years gone by. And yes, it's a lot better this time around. It's fully flat, doesn't curve marginally inward like it did on the previous model. So yes, the Z Fold 7 wasn't completely flat. It is finally completely flat here, which is a good thing. So, as you probably are well aware, the internals are practically identical on the Z Fold 8 and the Z Fold 8 Ultra. That means the latest Snapdragon chip. 12 gigabytes of RAM is a standard. You can get a 16 gigabyte RAM version, but you have to pay a little bit extra for that, and that will come at a cost due to the memory and RAM shortages right now. But all of them come with 256 gigabytes on their base models. The performance, from what I can tell, is absolutely indistinguishable. What is undeniable, though, is how different each reacts due to the different screen sizes and ratios on offer. For instance, games are better optimized for that 4x3 screen and the 4x3 screen real estate on the Z Fold 8's inner panel. The Z Fold 8 Ultra still has some issues with unoptimized UI layouts. There's black borders here and there, and there's just areas that are underused and underutilized as a result of that 1:1 aspect ratio. The Fold 8 does not have a common inner screen ratio, but apps can just scale better, or at least more akin to a tablet screen size, which does look better for the most part. You get a heightened experience with lots of games and lots of other applications out there due to this. I think for movies and TV shows or video streaming services, the answer is a little bit more nuanced, and I actually went in with my hands-on session. Due to that 1.1 to 1 aspect ratio of most modern high-end foldables, You will get issues with black borders when watching 16:9, 21:9, or 2:1 content. There's no way to resolve this without cutting off a very large section of the video to fill the screen. On the Z Fold 8, because it's 4:3, you do still get black borders when watching full screen content, or content full screen on this, and the actual video player size is, well, it is directly comparable to the Z Fold 8 Ultra. However, owing to that wider shape, you don't have such obvious black borders or unused screen real estate. Visually, I think it computes better and means fewer distractions or things that feel like compromises like they have on that 1:1 aspect ratio. Where it falters a little, though, is in how apps work side by side. So the Z Fold 8 Ultra is better for multitasking, at least in my experience, because you can run apps in their native size, aka phone screen, next to each other. The reduced scaling of the Z Fold 8 means that apps can be wider and sometimes look a little bit weirder than we're probably used to, and the same goes for the outer screen as well. I do find something like YouTube or another application at maybe 60-30% splits does look better on the Fold 8. You might disagree, but for most part, it is a bit of something you have to get used to. Even with the way it handles websites, I think is much, much better though on the Z Fold 8, as you're able to do things like turn this on its side and get a longer paper-esque, almost akin to A4 paper. The layout is something that blows the experience with the Z Fold 8 Ultra's square layout completely out the water. Sites and pages, I think, scale correctly, and for me, it's superb for reading books, especially comic books if you're a comic book reader as well. For content consumption, there's definitely a lot to be said about this new aspect ratio. Objectively though, Samsung has nailed the design again for both models. I think if the Z Fold 8 is preempting Apple, which in all likelihood it is, this is an incredible opening gambit. The colours, the size, the shape, I think it's a masterstroke, and I wonder why it took the company so long to kind of come to fruition with this kind of device. It is something that I think has been proven, or at least in the short amount of time, you can just read online, go where you want. There are a lot of people really, really made it with this shape, and I'm definitely one of those. I think the biggest argument, though, that you could make in favour of owning or picking up the Z Fold 8 Ultra over the Z Fold 8 is that it is a better model on paper. It makes sense. Samsung has kept a few things for this phone in particular. It has a telephoto camera lens, albeit not the best, and it's certainly not worthy, though, of the Ultra tag, at least from what I can see. It does have, both of these models have IP48 ratings. The Ultra model has faster wide charging. It has a marginally larger 5,000 mAh, and they're all silicon carbon batteries now. It has, I think as far as I'm aware, it has an improved anti-reflective inner display coating that maybe isn't necessary or isn't visible on the Z Fold 8. Maybe I've rubbed that off already, or it just doesn't look quite as reflective to me on the Z Fold 8 Ultra versus the Z Fold 8. I do think the familiar form factor is something that, well, it's been used for almost a decade on foldables, so people can get their head around it. But I do think for a lot of people, the unfamiliar shape and the size of the outer display isn't going to be something that's going to put them off the Z Fold 8. You won't always use a foldable phone when fully open, so that could mean you want to lean towards the Ultra. So I guess having a standard outer display size and shape is going to be important to you if you want that. It is merely a modern phone, though, with a bigger inner display with fewer compromises, I guess. As mentioned, though, I think when using the inner screen, apps run side by side with zero scaling issues. That's another key consideration you have to make. Foldable phones have been popular for this form factor, despite how attractive that mini tablet shape on the inner screen has been, and we can see why OEMs haven't done this before. Annoyingly, I think for an Ultra model, there is no S Pen support still. I know they took it away last year. This, I think, could have been a really easy way to help separate these phones further again, make one the true professional option, one the more entertainment option. And unlike the Galaxy S lineup, I do think the Ultra model retains lots of powerful functions on the S series. I think it's less pronounced here on the Z Fold 8 and the Z Fold 8 Ultra. Obviously, the name notwithstanding. You've got to really work out for yourself is which is going to be the right one for you. And I have to say, I'm really surprised that anyone would be looking to spend over $1,000 on any piece of technology right now, mostly due to the fact that you're arguably getting less for your dollar or every single dollar you spend due to those RAM and storage costs. It is worth noting, though, for me, I think the Z Fold 8 is such a breath of fresh air, despite the fact that it is absurdly overpriced. It's fun, it's hand-friendly, and it doesn't feel like something designed for the modern businessman, I'd put it. There is a strong appeal for just using this device that kind of using it as a device that demands using it for entertainment rather than trying to be more productive. I think that might have been one of the reasons that the Z Fold 8 Ultra didn't resonate with me. It definitely resonates with the kind of people who want to use their phone for entertainment purposes. We will delve into the real key strengths and weaknesses, get a deeper dive into reviews when we do reviews of these devices very, very soon here on the channel and across the website. So if you have any questions, throw them down below. But yeah, I think it's a really strange time for these foldables. We've seen this split down the middle. We're getting one wide, one, I guess, traditional. And I do think I'm erring towards what Google did with their Google Pixel Fold. And I think that might be a breath of fresh air for at least this time in the foldable market. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Hopefully this has helped you get an idea of what these devices, what the strengths and weaknesses are. Not a true deep dive, but a few thoughts. Cheers for watching, and I'll speak to you later.